Hear the episode of Chasing the Whimsy.
Welcome to the Chasing the Whimsy.
Yeah, welcome to this week's episode of Chasing the Whimsy. I'm the host, Ben, and you are?
Yeah.
And you are?
Megan.
Hello, Megan. Liam had a birthday. Vacation, I guess.
Birthday vacation.
Well, Mom took him and a bunch of friends camping-ish.
Oh, well, that's a good birthday vacation.
I don't know if
you're not going to Aruba or whatever.
vacation the right word?
Trip.
Quit touching the microphone, kid. Sophie, you recorded with me earlier for 10 minutes at the front of this episode, or do you get your own episode? 109.1.
My own episode.
Nice. High five. All right, so if you're listening to this, after this, you have to listen to the bonus 109 episode.
It's a hard act to follow.
It's going to be crazy. So how you doing today, Sophie? You almost ready for bed?
No.
No? You're going to stay up all night and podcast with us the whole time?
Oh no, Sophie, what's going to happen if we stay up all night?
I'll sleep in the morning.
That's right.
And then you get grumpy.
You've got school in the morning, right?
For those who haven't heard your bonus episode yet, you have a birthday coming up. How old are you going to be?
5.
And what happens when you turn 5?
I'm going to the biggest school. It's kindergarten.
Oh my God, are you excited? Careful with that.
Okay.
What are you gonna do? Like, what does a kindergartner do? What kind of stuff are you gonna learn?
I didn't know yet.
What do you want to learn about?
I don't learn about how airplanes fly.
All right, so you want to learn about
Because
airplanes?
I have no idea how they fly yet.
Okay. And you've been on an airplane, right? What else you want to learn?
I don't learn about donuts, how people make them.
You know, I used to make donuts as my job, right?
Gee, you can just ask her. You don't have to go to school for that. So you're just gonna just drop out and just talk to your auntie.
That's not all. We decorate them.
That's the best part.
All right, Sophie. This week we're talking about where do we get our creativity and the fan fusion. We're gonna do 2 panels. We're gonna stand up in front of like 1,000 people and talk to them about podcasting. Are you gonna be there and watch us?
Are you going to be one of the 1,000 people?
You gonna get up there and say hi?
I think I'm going to be a little bit shy.
You be a little bit shy? Maybe. What if we find another little girl who likes Bluey and Gabby? You gonna talk to her about Gabby and airplanes?
What about me talking about monkeys and donuts?
Monkeys and donuts. So if you found another little girl and you talked about monkeys and donuts, would you be shy? So, all right, Megan. It looks like it's you and me at Fan Fusion.
Okay, so we lost Liam again.
I don't know where he's at because he's got wrestling, and the schedule looks all jacked up. I have to figure out what the dates are because I totally think he steps on the anniversary show. So I have no idea what that looks like now. But he's doing his thing. He's gonna go. He's wrestling. He's gonna win, bring home some medal. But if he does come down, he'll come down for one day, probably the Sunday.
Okay.
But we are, I would say official, but I technically haven't paid for my spot yet. But we're officially there for 2 panels Saturday and Sunday.
Wow, 2 panels.
So we had talked about this early. The 2 panels we want to do, and we can change it if we want to, but I think we agreed on podcasting as a superpower
Right.
and podcasting on a budget.
Yep.
Which one goes first?
Oh, definitely has a superpower.
Right, because Saturday's a bigger day, right?
Yeah.
All right, I like it. What do you envision this panel looking like? So we're up there for an hour.
Yes, we are up there for an hour. There's gonna be 5 to 10 people in the audience. 2 of those people are gonna be Kelly and Sophie.
Did you know? I told Sophie 1,000 people.
Okay, sorry. There's gonna be 1,000 people there.
1,000
That's
people.
gonna be crazy, seeing as the panel rooms are not that big.
I think we're looking 200,
200.
which is still a decent size.
It's a lot of people, but it's okay.
Yeah. I've never talked in front of 200 people.
I have.
When did you talk to 200 people?
I used to be in this leadership thing in high school, so talked to more like 1,000 people at a time, and then sometimes it'd be smaller crowds, like 200 people. But
Dad, I have another guest. My name's Rapunzel.
Oh, Rapunzel. She was on your episode, huh?
Yep.
She's your doll friend?
Yeah, my doll I bought from the store.
All right, so podcast is a superpower. Like, what is like what description would you give? Like, if we had to write the name of it and a description, what kind of description are we thinking?
maybe, I don't know, is it more of the case of how podcasting can make more connections in your life, or is it more like taking control of your own creativity and being able to start on the ground floor with your ideas and your talent?
And then promoting the idea of like, quit thinking about it, do.
Of course, yeah. It's kind of like self-publishing. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like you're going out there and you can be on the scene with no money down
Right.
and very little commitment, so you can just like listen, if you find out after 8 episodes you're not into it, don't make any
Right.
more. That's easy. It's like blog posts.
Yeah. The podcast as a superpower originally came from episode 6. I think it was 6. It was the first one I did by myself. My grandmother was there, but it was the first one that Liam wasn't there with us, and I had to, because I apologize. It was an apology to Liam for not being as active and like forthcoming with the ideas, because the idea was, say with JJ, put a microphone in front of a kid, and like a superpower, they just fucking come alive.
Right. And then especially when you're AJ's age,
Yeah.
you're gonna run into the space of like boundless creativity because nothing's limited you yet.
Right. And then if you're JJ's age, you have this idea of like, I want to be a YouTuber.
Oh yeah, well,
And I want to be on the
every kid wants to
internet,
be a
right?
YouTuber now.
So it's kind of like this idea of like, so I'll work out a description, or because I'll get AJ with us one day. But yeah, so it's something along the lines of like, balance, like you said, balance creativity, like unleashing like your inner creativity, no matter how old or young you are. And then what are some of the talking points that we want to make sure that we hit?
I guess maybe finding your own thing, because you just mentioned how JJ was like, I want to be a
Yeah.
YouTuber. Well, I hear a lot of kids say that,
Right.
and they all say they want to be what YouTuber?
Um,
Biggest YouTuber out there.
Mr. Beast or Cutie Pie.
Right. Like they want to be something that already exists
Right.
out there. They want to, do videos where you can win $1 million, or
Right.
they all want to do something that's already out there. And I feel like a lot of the smaller but still very successful channels found their niche, and then they do it. Like there's one girl who I watch who she does a lot of art stuff, but one of her biggest things is she collects dandelion crayons, which have been discontinued by Crayola.
Okay.
And so she has a whole wall of like, merch and stuff with dandelion crayons and, this limited edition pouch that was made in dandelion color and stuff like that. And I found myself watching this series of stuff about dandelion crayons. And I was like, wow, I can't believe not only was I so interested in this that I watched it, but somebody thought I should make a video about this.
Right.
And they weren't afraid that, or maybe they were, I don't know, but that nobody was going to watch it or be interested in it. They just posted it.
Right.
And it was successful and people did watch it.
Right. Okay. I watched this guy Nicky Chu who does Magic the Gathering content. He's still under 100,000. Like he's under 100,000 subs, so he technically doesn't have his play button yet.
Right.
But at the same time, like this idea, like with layman stuff too, is like if you can get 90K, take it. Like you don't need millions. Like you don't need to be a household name.
And there's plenty of people who less than 1 million followers, but they have gone full time.
Right.
Because whatever they're making supports them.
Right. I was telling my mom today, I'm like, if I can get 300 people to back the Patreon for $10 to $15 a month, like that's $3,000 a month on just podcasting, content creating, and just doing that. And it's almost to the point where I can almost just like, if I wanted to quit both jobs and just focus on creating content and just doing videos, like I just need 500 people to support us at $10 a month. And it's like crazy because it's not that much.
Yeah.
Like there's 1 billion people watching YouTube at any given time. I only want 500.
500 of them to religiously support.
$10 isn't that much.
Yeah, of course not. But
it's like, so it's wildly reasonable to think, but kind of like what you're saying is you kind of got to find your space.
Your space, your niche, because if you're making the same content that 10 other people are making,
you're competing.
You're competing against those 10 other people.
Right.
If you're making something that nobody's ever heard of before, maybe you strike out, maybe you find something interesting that you can go on and that people really want to see.
Right. So yes ma'am. You wearing your mom's glasses? You're gonna ruin your eyes. Oh. But hey, find your niche, do your thing. I think one of the other things is commitment. Like you got to stay on it because JJ is notorious for a 4-episode and out.
Well, I mean, he's also a kid, so
he did say he wants to come back. So
of course,
he's looking for his login info. So he's going to start podcasting again, The Diary of a Cool Kid. But it's kind of like if you want to be successful, if you have this idea of being a big YouTuber, they have videos coming out like daily or weekly.
Right.
And it's like, you got, like, I get, hey, you're a kid, but got it, if it's a hobby, then you're not going to be the up.
Right. And that's a whole different thing too.
Yeah.
If you want to do it as a hobby and you don't care
right,
if one person watches it or 0 does,
right,
you can do that too.
Right. And then you can put them out every 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And
yeah, it's just like blogging. It's,
right.
Maybe nobody reads it, but it's your way of getting your own ideas and thoughts out there.
Right. Do you think podcasting is a superpower? Is there audience interaction?
I think that it's always better to have audience interaction because
Like,
in this
do I
day-
go up to a bunch of 9-year-olds and be like, what is your podcast about? And then, hey, everybody, who would listen to this? And just watch everybody's hand raise.
Right. And then, like, I think that when people are thinking that they're going to be called on, or they're a little bit more attentive, because we do have that difficulty nowadays where it's like, you could just be on your phone wherever you
Right.
are and attention could wane. And it's always more fun when you find out other people's ideas, because I feel like it's kind of like that group project idea
Yeah.
where you'll always run into something that you never would have thought of.
Right.
And if you're just like, oh yeah, well, we could give you some samples. Well, they are the samples.
Right.
And if you're asking people to start things and get involved, that starts them thinking about something. If you go, hey, you in the front row,
Right.
well, if you had to make a podcast today, what would your podcast be about?
Like Minecraft.
Yeah, whatever they're interested
Right.
in.
I like the idea of just like, no matter what stupid thing you come up with, like, I'll support it. I don't even care.
Yeah.
If you're like whatever it is, cross stitch, crochet, like, hey, there are people who watch that stuff, man.
All the time.
Like there's a spot for you on the internet. And then I think somewhere towards the endish, because as a superpower, you're like, well, I don't have all the tools. Like, I have ideas and I can tell stories, but then I think there's an opportunity to be like, this stuff is super cheap. Like, Spotify uploads it for free. You don't even have to pay for a host anymore.
Right.
It's like JJ's a really good example, like Hand Recorder, StreamYard, all these free things, man. Just get in front of a mic and just try it. Like,
Yeah,
you never know.
You use your phone
Yeah.
for your first episodes. You can just use your phone and record there.
Is Cool Kid for Diary of a Cool Kid. 15 minutes. It's like, you don't, like, for whatever reason, I arbitrarily like to go for an hour. Like, that's just me. But there's nothing wrong. Most of the videos I watch are 15-minute videos.
Oh, of course. So you can fit it in between
Yes.
anything in your life that's going on.
Right? Like, I'm watching all like the weird lost media or some like creepy, obscure things on the internet. 15 minutes. I'm like, boom, done.
But there's a place for everybody, because I am like a huge fan of true crime.
You're right.
And previously, because I worked in an environment where I didn't talk to anybody, I was like worked in the meat department of like a grocery store. I was like, I don't want to watch a 15-minute video, because then I have to find another video after 15
Right.
minutes. I want the one that's like an hour long, 2 hours long. I want it to be crazy. Now that I'm busy all the time, I'm like, dude, 15 minutes.
Right?
15 minutes.
Like,
And that's all I got.
I'm on a break. Let's
Right.
do this. And because if it's interesting enough, I'll note it and I'll watch two longer videos somewhere else. Like, I'll find a deep dive. But
Yeah.
I need a little taste of this man who's killing people and wherever.
Yeah, if it's a really interesting crime where it has a lot of twists and turns and everything like that, I guess I'll watch it in 15 minutes increments.
Yes.
But
It's the beauty of rabbit hole, man. You're like, hey, that's interesting. And if I can't remember, like, I've fallen down a lot of rabbit holes. Like, somehow, randomly, I don't know how I got to it, but there's this guy, Magnus, professional climber. Dude, I lost 2 days watching climbing videos.
I've seen some of the shorts of climbing, and it looks like horrifying, to be honest.
It does. He competes. I think he's a world champion. He competed. It's all the indoor stuff. So I'm watching those. I'm like, these are interesting. And then he wanders around. He's like, I'm gonna go hang out the parkour kids, and he starts trying to parkour. And he hangs out with Eddie Hall, who is World's Strongest Man.
Yeah.
And he just hangs out with him and teaches him how to climb. I'm like, dude, I lost 2 days. I was like, I'm just watching climbing video. I'm like, it was interesting.
There's been some crazy collabs on the internet
Yes.
lately, and I'm like, oh, I never expected these two worlds to meet.
I like it.
I like it.
All right. So I think I like that. We'll have to iron out like our dynamic, because I don't know if, like, should we outline it a little bit, or do we just want to go in there and just start fucking shooting from the hip?
I think we should definitely outline, because a danger of talking off the cuff, which I used to do a lot, because I used to not like to write speeches.
Mhm.
I was like, I'll just make it up as I go along. Is sometimes you like run out of things to say, and then you're just like, I
Right?
really wish I had written something down.
Or you keep going and then you realize like, oh man, 15 minutes ago I really should have said this.
Yes,
And
totally.
then you sound weird. We're like, okay, go back. Okay, remember earlier?
Oh, I had such a great example of this. Oh, I forgot to say it. Hold on. It's just,
Right?
it ruins the flow.
Or you're like, oh, what was the example? And then you're sitting there for 3 minutes, like, oh, I promise I remember what it is. And you're like, I'll just move on. I'll come back to it later. All right. All right, cool. So we'll outline it a little bit. Like I said, I don't have AJ. He's the guy who's organizing the con. So I invited him on. He's a really nice guy. He does he likes to hike and he takes his metal detector.
That's interesting. Like, where does he hike that he's going to find cool stuff with a metal detector?
I don't know, but I always ask him, like, you find who is it? The Dutchman?
Oh, so he's going up in, like,
Yeah.
Lost Dutchman mine,
Yes.
sort of.
So he's doing that. What was funny was I had a couple of video conversations with him because he was like early on, like the second they announced that they were looking for people for 2025. I emailed him and like we've been talking since. Okay, we went last year. It was like June.
Right.
I talked to him like September, October. Super cool guy. I found out that he won first place in a short story contest like 15, 20 years ago, 10 years ago. Like before he was organizing everything.
Right.
He was just volunteering.
Like, what kind of short story?
He couldn't find because I asked him, I'm like, hey, you send me yours, I'll send you mine. So he sent me one. It was like a real creepy pasta type. Like a birthday party and a cursed bottle of wine. It was like a 2-pager.
Right.
But interesting. I was like, all right. I'm like, oh, I got some creepy pasta vibes from this. I'm like, I get it. But the one that he won the award on, he's still looking for. So, but I invited him. I'm like, hey, before that, I'm like, I'd love to like hang out. Let's record. Megan's gonna hang out with us. So whenever we get that, then we'll start outlining it for sure. All right. So Sunday, podcasting on a budget. What are we doing on this one? This one is going to be like, hey, equipment, like huge computers, huge mics, expensive cameras. You don't need any of it.
Yeah, you don't even need a camera, period. No. If you don't want one.
Right? Or again, like it is crazy. You could do so much stuff on your phone. Like
literally, you can do almost everything on your phone if you want to.
Right.
Like if you don't want to buy a mic, if you don't need a laptop, you can get through.
Right. Like because it's like you don't even have to do YouTube. Like you can Instagram, which is all real. The ratio is what 16 by 9. So it's like you could just put your phone up against a book and you just sit there and talk for days. Like you just need your parents to buy you a phone and then you can just stream straight to like any of the platforms. It's crazy. Yeah, that one I think is a little bit more straightforward. You know, it's just like, what do you want to do? Baby steps. I will definitely. I got stories about don't trust people who want to promote you because it's all fake.
Oh, there's so much stuff out there where I would just say that if it sounds too good to be true,
Yeah.
it is. Right. It 100% is. You don't need to look into it. You don't need to investigate it, because if you're somebody who just made like 4 episodes and somebody's like, right, I want to pay for you to make episodes,
right?
Probably not.
Right?
Probably not.
Like,
no matter how good it is, it's
because like part of like Liam hates it, but I always mention the 7.5 subs on YouTube. There's a chunk of them that are bought and paid for, and it's kind of like once I understood the game, it's like, yeah, maybe some of them are bought and paid for, but it's one of those things where it's like I'm not buying them for the engagement. I'm doing it for the because like when you're scrolling through YouTube and you find an interesting video, which one do you tend to look at first? One with 3 subs or the ones with like 1,000 subs?
Okay, I feel like we've talked about this
Yes.
before.
The
but
3 looks pretty cool though.
no. Kelly, I don't know what's wrong with her. I don't know if maybe I've been living with a sociopath my whole life, but something about her YouTube algorithm is just people with like 0 subs, videos with 0 views and 0 likes.
That is awesome.
She'll send them to me, and the only views are her and me. And I'm like, what is going on? Where do you find these? She goes, oh, they just recommend them to me.
That is amazing.
But when I see, like, if I can forget that rare person, I'm
Yeah.
just kind of like,
Yeah.
come back to me when you have more subs. So a little bit of it is like, and I do it too.
Yeah.
Is like the algorithm's telling you who is good and
Right.
who has subs. And I literally will be like, if it's interesting, I'll watch
Right.
it. But if it's a little bit questionable, just like, come back when you have more
Right.
subs.
And it's like I appreciate what that person is doing with 3 subs. Like I appreciate that they got the 6 videos out. I totally see what they're trying to go for,
Kelly's there for them.
but it's like, you don't need me yet. Like you're still in your infancy. You're still trying to, like, you don't want me judging you based off of your first 6 episodes.
That's true. Because if you go back to the first episodes of like a lot of popular
Yeah.
YouTubers, it's crazy.
Mr. Beast, like it's crazy. You go back to like early Mr. Beast, like he's in his room, he's still doing like teenagery type stuff, but it's like it's almost unwatchable.
No charisma, no. But that's the thing, is you start out with less charisma and you have
Yeah.
to build it. You
Right. But now what's interesting is going and this is my whole thing recently is I'm just doing whatever right now. And I'm like, nobody's going to appreciate any of the random junk that I'm doing right now. But years from now, looking backwards, you're like, oh, I get it now.
right. Or, oh, it all started somewhere. And
Right.
that's the thing, is you have to have your hot mess years.
Like you can appreciate a hot mess after the success, not during my hot mess.
Right, exactly. But then some people will.
Yeah.
Some people will. Some people join for the hot mess,
Yeah.
and then you find some people complain the hot mess years have gone away. And you're just like, oh.
Right? They're like, oh, Ben, you changed, you sold out. I'd be like,
What are like big YouTubers like? I wish my Mr. Beast when he was just in his room. I'm like,
Right.
do you?
no, you don't.
Do you?
I know. Like, so.
Like we're in those years right now, and I'm having fun. But later, I might be like, do you miss this?
Like, so the second half, like, what if we blew up? And now, okay, so I did a bit on the Guild. Alicia Day. She had a web series back in like 08, 07.
Right.
She did like 10 episodes. They were like 4.5 minutes long. A little web series. She funded it season 1 by herself. She put a donate button on the website to get money for season 2. And then Microsoft comes in and gives her like a X amount of dollars to finish off the last 4 seasons. So it's kind of like one of those things where it's like I'm on track that something could happen in the next year where someone's like, I'm gonna give you 10 grand. Let's see if you could do something with it. Like Ben, Mind Boxes is interesting. Like, what would you do different if you had an extra 10 grand? I'm like, I don't know, maybe some background, something else, and whatever else. And they're like,
Maybe I wouldn't spend 2/3 of my day at my regular
Right,
job,
right.
where I just have to interact with people
Right.
and not think about Mind
Right.
Pockets.
right. I'd be like, I'd like to do Mind Pockets on the street. And they're like, here's 10 grand. Do what you want. I need to tell them Steve Davis. When Microsoft came out with the Zune, trying to compete with Apple, they started a whole podcast platform like Apple Podcast, and they gave Tom Steve Dave 6 figures, maybe a little less. We'll call it 6 figures. No, that's entirely too much. They gave him like 50 grand.
Right.
It was like give us 13 episodes. And that's where we got the Overkill episodes. So like this idea of like Microsoft is just throwing money at it. And they're like, here's 20 grand. Give me 13 episodes and see what you can do. And I'm like,
This It's basically $10 to Microsoft,
Right.
so
It was funny because they made jokes. They're like, "Yeah, we work for Bill Gates now."
not a bad place to be.
Right. But like there everything's constantly moving around. Liam decided he wants to maybe consider doing a baseball podcast. God forbid that thing gets picked up. Like any number of stupider things I've seen stupider things happen. But someone wants to throw like random like 10K at me and was like, get some Mind Pockets on the streets and give me one of those once a week. So I got regular Mind Pockets and I got Mind Pockets on the street. And then I hire a camera person. I get a new camera, I get some microphones, and I do a video thing. And then they're like, I like it. Boom. I'm Mr. Beast.
Right.
Who knows? Because that's all he did. Someone gave him 10 grand or 5 grand as a sponsor. And he's like, what do I do with this 5 grand? He's like, I'm just going to give it to a homeless guy. And then the video goes viral and the video makes 10 grand. So he's like, cool. I just got a sponsor for 5. I made 10. So I'm going to take the 10 and I'm going to give 2 homeless people 5 grand. And from there, he just fucking skyrockets.
Right.
Like, it's like the weirdest model, but he did something with it. And then and then all of his early videos, like, he's buying houses, he's buying cars for like the pizza guy. And then all of a sudden, he's like, how much would it cost to Uber from East Coast to West Coast? And he does it. And I'm like, and then if it costs 6 grand, he's making 10.
If it costs less than you're gonna make,
Right.
then who cares?
Like, it's so weird. So I like, it's interesting, but yeah, podcasting on a budget. Black Friday sales. If you want a mic, if you want to try to do something a little bit fancier.
Black Friday, like people in their on Amazon.com
Yeah.
at their house.
Heck yeah, man. The recorder at the house was a $200 recorder I got for $50. I'm like, boom, nailed it. Same thing with the camera. It's like 70% off. I'm like, deal.
They do have a lot of like tech deals where I'm
Yeah.
like, why would I ever want a microphone? And then now I'm like, okay, no,
Maybe.
now I see it. Okay,
Right.
never mind.
Yeah, it's like I think the second portion of that panel is because the problem that Chris, friend Jacob, the things that they struggled with the most was, I don't know what my vision is, and I want to wait until I get a better camera and a better setup. And I'm like, why? Because it's been 2 years and you guys have produced nothing. Because then life happens, holidays happens, birthdays come up, and now you can't like this idea of like, I want to buy a $2,000 camera. I just got to save for it. Like what was wrong with what you currently have?
Yeah, you should always start. Maybe not at the very bottom if you don't want to
Right.
go that low, but don't go crazy.
Right. Like don't.
Because we start out with different mics for this one.
Yeah. The original setup we found was the recorder, microphones, and headphones as a bundle set for like $250. And I'm like, that covers everything. Then technically SoundCloud, you can upload X number of hours for free. So I'm like, for $250, I'm like, we technically don't need anything else ever again.
Well, yeah, we were definitely operational, and then we had I think at first, when there were guests on, we were sharing Liam's mic.
Yeah.
And we just didn't have headphones.
Right. Yeah, because like, well, and it's one of those things, like, technically you don't need headphones. Like, that particular recorder was nice for me to be able to hear everybody's voices. But you can start small. Share a mic. I mean, we shared mic for Christmas.
Worked out fine.
Get a splitter if you have to. But my favorite thing was, like, Chris is like, oh yeah, here, buy these mics, get this camera, and do these things. And I'm like, why? Like, why do I have to put $1,000 into a hobby when I got a 13-year-old who may or may not want to do this? I have no idea what the hell I'm doing, so maybe I bail out. Like, why am I going to invest $1,000 into something that I don't know, but that's why I have extra recorders, because I'm interested now in the different quality of recording that those have, the versatility.
Yeah,
From
there's a certain kind of ease of use to
Yeah.
certain ones. I don't know. I think the setup we have now is really easy though. Like,
that's my favorite part.
because I remember the setup when we were at Tuscon
Yeah.
the first time. We were like had a lot of stuff to set up, and
We had the fucking cart. It was like, hold on, Robert Kurtzman. I'm like, this cord, this cord, this
we
cord.
got you over here. We got 3 mats going on.
But year 2 at Tuscon, hand recorder, boom, in your face.
Hand recorder, and then this recorder, but just like at a table by the
Yeah.
fountain, and
a Wi-Fi connection.
yeah, that's it.
And I'm like, that's like my favorite thing, is like, you don't need, like any good hobby, you need to invest a little bit of money. Nikki started cross stitching, so obviously you got to get your patterns and your needles and your threads. So like, there's the initial investment, but like if you can get a couple of weeks, couple of months, God forbid you go like 100 episodes in a year, like you got your return on investment. If I was bowling, I'm paying $20 a week.
Yeah.
Like there's like Liam, don't even get us
Going
started.
to the gym, you're paying like, so much per month.
Right. JJ does Taekwondo. I don't know how much that is, but he goes weekly. I'm assuming it's something similar to like 30-40 bucks maybe.
Yeah, and Sophie does swim classes.
Right. So like this idea of like, hey, parents are willing to invest in their kids in finding a hobby. Like wrestling, wrestling is so expensive. But even when he was playing baseball, it's like baseball club and cleats and all the equipment and stuff. It's like,
yeah, there's a lot of accoutrement.
Right. And I'm like, I'm willing. He likes it. It's a hobby. He wants to do it. He's passionate about it. So like, this is way cheaper than any of the hobbies the kids are out there doing. She's so funny. Anything else that you want to make sure that we nail home podcasting on a budget?
The on budget one is a little bit more straightforward, and I would think that's like also a good one for
Q&A
audience question.
Yeah.
That's another thing too, is there's so many more layers too, because obviously this setup went through its different iterations and stuff like that, but setting up how to have guests if they're not with you, as I know several of our guests have not been physically in the room with us, those would be interesting things to talk about,
right?
And maybe how to kind of like cultivate guests,
right? Okay.
Because I feel like a lot of people would be like, oh, I'm really into crocheting and I just want to talk to people who also like crocheting. And you're like, well,
how do I find a crocheter?
Why don't you go find somebody who crochets little like serial killers while they talk about true crime?
Right.
And it's tangential to what you're talking about, but you might find some people who watch or listen to their content and might be interested in your content. Because that's really what you're doing with guests, or if you want to call it a collab, is you're trying to find some crossover
like
people who are going to be like, well, I actually like this Ben guy. Let me watch another one of his, or listen to one of his episodes, and
that's how
go on from there.
That's how Tom, Steve, Dave started. It was Brian and Walt working at the comic book store. No one knows of them prior to like 2006. Then they were on an episode of Spodcast, and then all the comments were like, these two are brilliant.
Yeah, I love these guys. Have them on more.
And then Kevin Smith was like, hey, I'm going to start a network. How about you guys do your own show? And they're like, no, we don't want to do that. And then, but when they did, and they're on the network, and they're like, oh, I remember that. That was one of my favorite episodes.
Those are my favorite guests.
So
and now they have their own thing.
So instantly, boom, like 100K come over. And then it's like, cool, we just have to now maintain. And it's like you just have to go find somebody and grab 5-6% of their people and bring them over a little bit, because the way that we consume like content is like crazy. I will run out of like Nick Crowley. He only posts once a month. So once I listen to his hour-long video, I'm like, what else do I have?
Happens to me constantly. Like I have a watch later list on YouTube,
Yeah.
and I'll be like, "Dang, this thing's getting long." I'll watch the whole thing, and I'm like, "Wait, now I have nothing to watch."
Right. So then it's like, okay, oh, he collaborated with Netpox and Blame It on Jorge. And so it's like, okay, let me listen to these guys. I'm like, oh, I like the way that they do their stuff too. And it's weird because they're all the same type of story, but they add a little something different.
There's something different about the way everybody tells the story,
Yeah.
the details that they want to keep in. Some people are more factual, some people are like natural born storytellers, but you might like either or.
Right. But now I'm like, because of Nick Crowley and his obscure rabbit hole internet oddities, I found 4 other people that when I burn through all of their content, I have extra backups.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So, and the idea that we can be like, here's the list of guests that we have. Like, just ask.
Literally the most random assortment of guests, and it's just from asking people to talk to us.
World record holder of Tetris, Ming Chen, some people from Comic Book Man, a guy who does makeup artists. I had a Grammy winner.
Authors.
I got authors.
Artists.
Who works like, oh my God, it's like the funniest thing. I love it. And it's interesting because, like, if any of those people, because like you tag them like Kurtzman, so someone's like, oh, I like Kurtzman stuff, and they're like, this is an interesting interview. Like, who are these 2 guys? And they're like, how did they get like, let's see what else he's doing.
Yeah.
And they're like, all
how'd
right.
we get Robert Kurtzman on there? It turns out we just walked up and asked if he talked to us for like 10 minutes.
And then we just set up 8 feet from him.
And then he talked to us. He talked to us almost like an...
I think his episode was like 35 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say he was almost a half an hour.
Yeah.
And he just stayed there and he talked to us, and...
He remembered me when I saw him at Chronicon.
Really?
Yeah. I saw him. I'm like, yeah, how you doing? He's like, hey. He's like, yeah, I talked to you over at CheeseCon last year. He's like, yeah, there's a podcast going. I'm like, yeah.
I remember us freaking out when we saw him. We went to go get food late at night. We're like,
In the bar?
oh my God.
Right?
I'm like, yeah, you remember how we kind of like, we talked to you? Remember that?
Like, it's weird. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, on a budget, you go to conventions, you go to the craft fairs. If you're doing crochet, go to craft fairs. There's a whole grip of like people who love to talk about crocheting. Andy loves to crochet. I talked to her about, she has like one yarn lady that she will only buy from this one yarn lady.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. And she's like, I'll only watch her
But
stuff.
if you have a podcast and you have her on,
Right.
and then she tells her friends, hey, I'm on this podcast, and she likes to talk about crocheting and crafting and other things, and it's like, those are 4 people you wouldn't have touched before.
Right. And because there's so many different things you could do with crochet, it's like, I only make fucking oven mitts, but I heard this video, let's see what Ben's doing. Oh, Ben's making fucking turtles? And you're like...
There's people like pushing the boundaries of what you should do with crochet. And like, oh, I made my mattress with crochet. And it's...
But at the same time, like, I would love to know what a crocheted mattress looks like.
Of course.
Because if you're big into crochet, you can find others that are also passionate about crochet. They will accept all of your weirdness. And there's this weird, like, I guess weird when you talk to somebody who, like, Magic the Gathering players or whatever little, like, thing that you're embarrassed about, if you can find others with it, they almost don't care about your little quirk.
That's another thing is, I don't know, being embarrassed about sharing your ideas. I think that would be a good place to hone in on, because I feel like that's a lot of times why certain people don't want to share their ideas. They're worried that they're going to be ridiculed or they're not interesting.
Well, know your audience. Like,
know your audience, and then also interesting is a skill and you have to hone it.
Right.
You can't start out like everyone starts out with their own level of interest,
Right.
but there are people who who are famous who started out and they weren't interesting at all. They
Right.
sucked. Their content sucked and they sucked.
Right.
But they kept going for some reason and then they became actually good at it. So, that's like saying you don't want to play pickleball because the first time you try to hit the racket, it missed.
Right. Or, only the old people play it, or like it seems stupid and dumb, but it's like, let's try it out because I promise it's pretty cool.
Try it out, and if you don't like it, you don't ever have to play again.
Right. And I respect that as long as it's got same
And if
thing.
you don't want to tell your friends and family about
Right.
the podcast and you only want strangers to see it, just don't tell them.
Right.
The fact that they'll ever find it with your 3 episodes would be a crazy cosmic coincidence.
Right, because there's like of all of the stuff on the internet that your mom randomly, one that my mom is randomly on YouTube, and then she randomly find it. Like,
No, but not
Play
one
the
person
odds.
that I know has been like, "Hey, are you Megan of Chasing the Whimsy?
hey, I saw
Are
this.
you that Megan? That's crazy."
Is that the same stickers? Is that the same logo as your sticker? You're like,
I have the Chasing the Whimsy stuff in my office, and people are just like, "Oh, what's that?" I'm like, "Oh, it's a podcast," and then I don't mention them on it.
and it's like, I love it. All right, so get your microphone, get out there, realize it's a superpower. You'll enjoy it. You'll have fun with it. It's constantly evolving. You could do it on the cheap, but then they're like, well, how do I come up with an idea? Like, where does I think I'm a creative person. Where do I get my creativity from? So I have this bonkers idea. Like, I'm losing my mind. Like the last week, you saw my Ben on Ben interview,
Yes,
dude. I'm losing my mind right now. Okay, because this thing's already evolved like 3 times. So we're gonna start real quick on you. You write every November. Is it November?
yes, November,
For the last 20 years.
correct.
What do you write about? Like, give me did they all have a similar, what genre would you consider it?
Lots of different genres.
Okay.
So I've been all over the board. Obviously, my favorite, especially the last couple years, horror.
Okay.
Loved it. Before that, it was like urban fantasies, high fantasy, like just straight fantasy, but I've also done like just realistic dramas, and I try to be everywhere. And it's whatever is striking me at the November time.
Okay.
A lot of times it'll be something I've been thinking about all year long because I'll come up with an idea. It's almost always when I'm driving.
Right.
I love
Because you do drive a lot.
drive about 40 minutes to work and back.
Right.
So 40 minutes there, 40 minutes back. I like to listen to music, but then like it's almost like the music becomes like in the background and
Right.
my brain starts working.
Right. Like, it's like one of those things where you're like, I'm overthinking, but I don't realize I'm thinking, and then it sneaks to the surface, and you're like, what am I actually thinking about? And you're like, whoa, like I'm already 2 hours into this conversation, and then you catch up real quick.
And then another thing I really enjoy is like purposely misunderstanding song lyrics.
Yeah.
And think about like what it could mean in a horror movie or in a fantasy, and like maybe they're not talking about love, they're talking about an execution.
Right.
And instead of like the loss of your love, you're talking about the loss of your life.
Right.
And I'm like, well, what would be, how did you get there, and why are you feeling so sad about it?
Right.
Because you always think of like somebody getting executed as being like a salty
Right.
asshole who deserves what they're getting them, and then I'll just build on there, and then next time I get in the car, I'm like, about that.
So your creative process is a lot of subconscious thought, then eventually it leaks out, and you kind of just sit on it for.
Yes,
a
and if
couple
I
months.
like something a lot, I can't stop thinking about it.
Do you ever write notes, take notes, start anything pre-November? Like, will you have chapter 1 done before November?
Never. And That means there's a lot of lost media in my head because you can't keep everything in your head for a year. There are some like documents on my ancient laptop that are just like, I was like, I gotta write this down.
Right.
And I swear to God, when you go back like 3 years later and you read that, you're like, who wrote this? Was it a crazy person? Did they break into my house and write this on my laptop? Because it makes no sense to me. I don't know what the story is. I don't know who these characters are. But then you're like, I wonder what the story could be.
You're John Doe from Seven. You're just like, it's just notebooks of just random thoughts and
This
ideas.
is my memento moment. Or you make a new story.
Do you write anything throughout the year, or is it literally only November for 1 month? Is the only time you will ever put pen to paper in a
When
story?
I was younger and I had more time, I used to write more often. Now that I have basically no free time, you know, like got a kid and like a house and everything to keep up with.
And you got hobbies, and you're like,
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I do spend a lot of time on the weekends playing video games, but
the November thing is a nice motivator because it's a routine. It
forces you
to I think that's the beauty of the idea of it, is like you have to write something this month, and it's like cool because I can make excuses all year, but this is the one time of year that I can't.
Well, and like I always like try to make nutritious and interesting meals every day. I cook for like an hour or more every day. During November, if I cook, I'm like, bro, we're eating quesadillas. We're eating quesadillas, and Kelly will cook.
The grilled cheese. Okay, so a little bit of everything. You don't subscribe to one particular genre. It's whatever strikes your fancy.
Yeah, whatever inspires me. And I think it's important because when I first started writing, I had like this idea of what kind of like writer and author I wanted to be. And I only wanted to write that kind of story.
Right.
And then I realized that I'm just like pigeonholing myself.
Right.
You don't want to end up like there's so many authors out there who write under like pseudonyms because they're like, oh, nobody's gonna read a horror story by me because I usually write children's books.
Right. And you're like,
fair. I mean,
all right. What are your stories about? Okay. Did you take writing classes in college or high school?
I did not take them in high school. I took 2 in college, and they were a lot of fun. I think that we always just, Kelly took poetry.
Right.
And I used to make fun of her constantly because I'm like, oh, do you guys bring blankets for your cuddle fest? And, when you guys just come up, do you just like hold each other as you're telling your stories and tears drip down? Because everyone in poetry class is super nice. And they're just like
real zen, like,
God, I really felt your poem and your word choice was so good. And they're just like, they love each other. College writing class was like a beheading every 5 seconds. They were like, your thing is unoriginal. It's no good. It sucks. I think you should completely start over. I don't even think this idea is good.
Right.
Like, I don't think you're
There's
bad.
not one redeeming thing about this thing.
You're not necessarily a bad writer, but this is a bad piece. And
right.
we constantly do stuff like that. But I thought it was really helpful because
shit on everything.
Well, I mean, allowed yourself not to be too precious about your writing.
Oh yeah.
And you can give as good critiques as you can get, but it also allows you to like open your eyes to what you're doing and it's hard and it's not fun when somebody says something like that to your face. And I said that to other people's faces, but it helps you grow sometimes getting like an honest critique.
Okay. How do you continue to grow as a writer if you only took the 2 classes and no one reads it? Like, how do you know do you think you're getting better year to year?
I think that I'm definitely getting better every single year because unfortunately for me, I've been doing this for 20 years and I can go back on my computer and see what I used to write.
You're like, oh, look at this piece of crap.
But the crazy thing is sometimes I will read some of the stuff I wrote just, out of interest and stuff like that. and I'll be like, oh God, I'm still out. And then I'll read something, I'll go, damn, that was good. That was something. I want to like steal that for my next book because I need to save that from this shitty book and just, pull it out.
You're right. So you like your big like breakout things and be like, oh yeah, you're doing a Q&A and you're like, yeah, came up with this because year 3, 6, 9, and 12
gets dying.
Yeah. The best parts of those years in here.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. So sometimes I don't try to go back to 2006, but sometimes I read it just for nostalgia. But that damn, that was good.
Yeah.
There's more damns that was goods in each year.
Yeah.
As you go on. So I cringe less as I go on. So like if I read something from last year, I'll be like, damn, that's actually not bad. Look at that. Oh my God. I'm getting creeped out reading this and I wrote it. Like, well, if I look something like 20 years ago, I'm like, oh God. This sounds like a 6th grader made it, not like a
and you're like
15-year-old.
Are any of the stories connecting or same characters?
Yeah, a lot of them.
Okay.
So there's both the phenomenon of I wrote this, but I didn't feel like I was really done with the character. Okay. And then also I wrote this and it was terrible, but I really like this character. Right. So I'm just going to pull it and make it a different book. Not even connected to that book.
But you like Steve.
I just took that character. I took Steve out and I was like, come on, Steve, let's go.
Like, oh, I love the idea that you're writing and you're like, Steve, best guy I've ever written. It's awesome. I like his tone. He's a little sarcastic. Yeah. He's awesome. And then you go back and you're like, oh, what are you doing to this, Steve? You could do better. Let me write you to better.
Oh, no, I look at the rest of the book, I go, oh, God, the plot's terrible and full of plot holes.
I'm so sorry, Steve.
I don't know what the main character's deal is, but Steve,
right?
Let's go.
All right, so that was, do you think you're getting better? And then what got you into writing versus poetry or drawing or any other form of creativity?
So I think that I was just kind of always interested in writing. I have my mom has this box of stuff that she was like, please take. Please get this out of my house. And it's just like all old shit for me. And she was like, you're an adult now. You have to carry this stuff. And it'll be like 2nd or 3rd grade and teacher has like little underlines. Wow, very descriptive. Right. Good job. You wrote a lot longer than I expected. You know? And I think I just always liked telling stories and writing stories. And
are you creative? Like outside of like, I know that you and Kelly, like, well, what if you watch a lot of movies, you'll what if scenario and you'll talk all day. Does the writing creativity come out in your real life? Like, do you, like if we did this podcast enough, will I get glimpses of writer Megan creativity?
I think maybe if you think in that case, you've talked to me about movies before, right? And we've what ifed and everything like that. I don't usually talk because I'm not a professional writer or anything like that. Right. I don't necessarily talk about anything that's like from a writer's perspective usually. Kelly is an English major and I took a lot of English classes and writing classes. And so a lot of times we'll talk about narrative structure and there's little plot and conflict and all that stuff. But
has she read most of your stuff?
No.
Has she read some of your stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, there's hard drives. And see, now, like,
I think it's for me. I'm always like, you can write it because like you write something in November and you write the whole thing in 30 days,
right?
And I'm like, just read it when I clean it up, and I go,
it's December 1.
I'm now on hiatus. I'm retired, semi-retired until next year.
I pat myself on the back. I'll see you in April when I hear a song to get the next idea going.
Yeah, exactly. Because it is hard to make time, and I've always wanted to spend more time in the editing process because I'm not as familiar with it.
Right.
I have had several books where one year I wrote it and the next year I rewrote it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was actually more complicated than writing a book. Because I actually had, like, next to each other 2 screens.
Right.
And one was the original novel and the other one was the new novel. And, like, deciding what I was taking out, what I was saving for later, but then I had to remember to put it in later. And anything that was taken directly from the original novel couldn't, in my mind, count towards my word count. So I had to add 50,000 words as well. And it was very complicated. And I feel like the book really benefited from it. It was 100% better.
Slow Collector, story that I wrote in 2012. 10 short stories. It's like an anthology. Same character, but short stories. Wrote it. I'm not a professional writer of any kind. I'm dyslexic and I can barely read.
Actually true.
First of the year, I met. I found an editor. A bunch of credits. Like, I checked the reviews. She was awesome. Boom. She was a little bit. She the best person I can find with the most credits, and then just happened to also be within the price point, like $250.
Right.
Give it to her. She's like 10 days. So I'm like, cool. Get it back. Holy cow. Like, I feel so, like, I almost want to send her more money. She gave me the full edited version. So I'm like, cool. I'm like, this is good. Fantastic. And then she sent me a copy of all of the, cause like,
changes.
Yeah. Cause Word lets you track the changes. Oh my God. I felt so bad. Like she almost had to rewrite the entire thing. It almost looks like.
Yeah.
It looks, I'm like, I'm so sorry. And she's leaving notes. I'm like, I appreciate everything, man. But I'm like, I haven't looked at this thing in like years. I'm like, I'm just throwing it out there because I'm got this creative bug. I'm like, I want to try to get some shit out here. And I'm like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, I feel so bad.
It's hard.
Oh, it is.
Kelly's a good editor, though.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. So, did you read it yet? Or do you forget that you still have it?
No, every time I forget that I have it, I try to open it on my phone, it won't open, and I'm like, I gotta get my fucking laptop.
I'll print you a copy.
I'll read it.
I'll print you a copy.
Because if you make me get that, this poor laptop is like from 2012. It sounds like it's being tortured when you turn it on.
The house dims a little bit.
I was terrified while I was writing my novel that I was going to lose everything.
Oh, do you have it all backed up somewhere?
No.
Oh.
So I was like, please don't die.
Right.
It kept freezing horribly, and I was just like, I guess we'll just sit here and wait.
Because I have 109 episodes, has the original recording, then it has 2 versions of the edited version, and if there's a video, then there's the video. So in theory, 109 episodes has anywhere between 3 and 5 versions of it. So I save all those because you never know. Because sometimes, very rarely do I have to edit anything out for whatever reason. Like my whole thing right now, unlike the lives and stuff, is I'm just collecting all of it. Like, and I don't know for what or why. I have the kitchen cam. There's 40 hours of kitchen cam with that. There's nothing to it. It's just an awkward angle with poor sound. And I'm just hoarding it all. And then, like, the idea, like, and I think the reason why I have multiple copies is because if I ever lost the original, I'm like, oh my God, like, I want to, like, I'll lose one, but I have 4 backups.
Yeah. No, I lost, and I don't know how, 2011's NaNoWriMo. It's nowhere. It's lost media, and it's devastating to me because I just...
Oh.
I know what the story
Yeah.
was about, and that was the one that actually was like the realistic drama
Yeah.
one. And I'm just like, where did it go? Where did it go?
Right.
It's horrifying to me because I'm like, I want to read it.
Right.
I don't know why. It was probably terrible. It was when I was in the middle of college,
Right.
but
So like I got these ice episodes in case of emergency. Like the idea is I would have some backups. So if anything should happen to me, boom, I got extra ones I can just drop in. Right. And then like recently I'm just like, I don't think anybody's ever gonna hear them. And I'm like I'm slowly creating a bunch of lost media,
yeah.
which is amazing. And then like the idea, like I forget exactly what I said, but like yesterday I was talking about, I'm like, I just want Sophie when I'm 50 just to fucking put all this shit out. And I'm like this idea of like, I don't know what my dad was doing, but for the 50th anniversary, here's all the stuff he did year 1, year 2, year 3.
This is all the beginning of something.
The reason I'm thinking about the creativity stuff, right? Because we're going to the con. We're going to be telling kids like, chase your passion, be creative, do something.
Kids and adults.
Anybody who wants. I'm 41. Get out there and do it. There's no excuses. Like, I am not good at. Like, I'm getting better, but I'm having the best time of my life right now. So,
Yeah.
like, get out there and have some fun with it. I made a fucking random Ben on Ben video. Like, so much fun. Like,
Yeah.
oh, so much fun,
Testing your editing skills.
dude. Because so the goal is the next one I'm going to do. I'm going to introduce an extra Ben. So now I was like, can I put 3 Bens in a video?
Can you?
I can, and it's going to be amazing. So I started thinking about it, and what I want to do now. SNL has the Californians,
Yes.
right? Which is like a semi soap opera thing where nothing's happening, right? They're not talking about directions, and I barely pay attention to that bit. Like I don't even understand most of that bit.
They're talking about like getting on different highways.
Yeah.
So it's like a play on California people.
So the next Ben on Ben will be an interview of some kind. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have some fun with it. But then I was like, holy fuck, I can make a web series of Ben and Ben scenarios. Like
Yeah.
like so I'm trying to think like I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Like this like eventually came up to soap operas. Could I do a Ben soap opera that introduces a Ben character?
Which one's the evil Ben?
Right? Okay, so here's something funny. I was going to tell you about this today. Um, like it's so dumb, and it's a lot of it's just the idea of like this is the stupid. Like I don't even know how funny or entertaining any of it will be, but all I know is I'm gonna have a blast doing it because it's all different takes. I got to get a green screen now because so I can help set some mood. Like because if I go soap opera route, obviously one of the Bens is going to be in a coma, so I need a nice hospital setting.
Right.
Um,
But even that now, it's on a budget. You can get a green screen for cheap.
super, it's like really on the cheap. But the idea is like the creativity thing was like interesting. Nobody's no I've never told anybody. 2015, I 100% researched and started looking into taking fucking acting classes. No idea why. Because I was just like, I'm like, because I stopped writing the story, and then I was like, all right, how do I get the story out there? And I'm like, maybe I can just like rework them into like longer monologues, and they'll just be like a Ben monologue of fucking weird death stories. And I was like, all right, how do I do that? And I'm like,
Right.
right. So I'm like, maybe some acting classes because I need to learn how to fucking some inflection and fucking and bought a book, didn't read it, and then I slowly just walked away from the whole thing. But there's this idea of like, I even consider like so now
But you have the book.
I do I somewhere, but now like I should take acting classes because now I got to figure out how to if I'm going to introduce all these Bens, like
They have to be distinct from each other.
okay, so here's some tropes. Okay,
I will say that if you see like skits on YouTube where like the same person plays
Yeah.
different people, usually the certain character has like a certain outfit that they always
Right.
wear.
Yes. Well, and so here's where the creativity part comes in, right? Because I always have to be slightly different than everybody else. Because it's always it's the one shot talking, and then it cuts to the other person. I really want to keep it the two bends in the same shot.
Right.
Like that's gonna be my whole shtick. No idea how to do any of it yet. Like the idea that I have to come up
The timing would have to be crazy,
right.
though.
I wish I took acting classes. It's like to learn how to like read a cue and then follow some timing and stuff. But if I do go the soap opera route, okay, here's some very common soap opera tropes from over the years. There's a rapid aging syndrome, so I just get an older Ben,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Um, Back from the Dead.
Back from the Dead,
Right?
yeah.
So one Ben, he dies. Guess what? 8 episodes later, he comes back from the dead. Like,
Well, he has to be killed.
right?
And then they dump his body in a well, and then they're like, oh, I guess he's really gone now, and then
Right?
they show up.
Amnesia, split personality. Like, I can get into some horror stuff trying to do the split personality thing.
Yeah.
I am working on, like, I had, like, before the fun one, when I started doing that one, I'm like, I could totally do a split personality thing, make it a little bit dark and just like my view on fucking depression. And
Yeah.
like, I'm like, oh, that's a little heavy. I'm like, let's just do fun Ben, hanging out with Ben. Like,
Dude, it's just an
Right.
interlude where it's just you guys putting around.
well, was it, have you ever read Garfield minus Garfield?
I've heard of it.
Garfield comics, but you take Garfield out of it and it's just John talking to himself. And there's something really eerie about it. The dog agrees.
Yeah, he definitely does.
So it'd be like a Ben minus Ben. Like I'll play one video and then I'll take out the one Ben and then darken it. And it's like, oh, that's kind of creepy. Okay. But then you got brain tumor, evil twin, long lost relatives, brainwashing, extreme plastic surgery.
Yeah.
Right. Like, oh, like all of these could introduce another Ben or the same Ben or like
De-aged Ben, and it's just Liam.
repressed memories. It was a dream all along. Like,
Wake up in the hospital bed.
uh,
Oh my god, it was a dream.
who's the father? What had gone wrong? An infinite triangle, love triangle. So now Ben is in love with Ben. And, like,
Yeah.
doppelganger, secret second families, controversial relationship origins, surprise family ties, comas, and kidnappings. Like all of those. One, I'd love that those are all soap opera tropes.
Right. And
And
then they could all go on for like X amount of time.
Because it's like comic books. Just because you kill somebody off doesn't mean you can't bring him back,
Yeah, especially in the comic book
right?
universe.
So like soap operas are doing it. It's like, yeah, he fell down that mine shaft. Like, no. Sweeps week's coming up. We're bringing him back. But yeah, I don't know what I'm doing with any of it yet. But yeah, that's where like I love the whole idea of this creativity thing.
Yeah.
Whereas like part of it's the challenge of can I make an interesting 5-minute video with Ben and Ben dialogue with ongoing story for 10 episodes?
Except nowadays it would be 60-second videos, and it's
Right.
like, oh, see us in the next one.
But then I'm thinking they're gonna be 5 minutes because I'm gonna need a lot of like Ben's gonna be like, hey, you look like me. He's like, yeah, I'm your long lost brother. And he's gonna have to like explain a bunch
Yeah.
of story because there's only 4 minutes.
Well, no, YouTube shorts can be like, what is it, 3 minutes?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, keep them all within 3 minutes so that way I can keep them all in shorts.
Right. Shorts is an interesting market to get into.
It is. But I'm in this idea, definitely going into year 3. This idea that I'm going to start writing like 3-minute scripts with 2 or 3 different. It just seems like amazing to me. It seems like so much fun.
Yeah, it sounds like fun. It's not like too much pressure because it's just a 3-minute script, and
But I haven't put anything out yet,
you can crank one out pretty
right?
quickly and then shoot it and
Like
then just go on.
it seems so random. It just like it's weird because I constantly trying to find things. Like I'm not even trying to find things. Like I do one thing, and I'm like, well, this would be cool. What if I did this? And then it kind of evolves like 3 more times, and now I'm making a soap opera, like a YouTube short, one-man show soap opera thing.
Right.
And it's just like this, and nobody's asking for it. But it's one of those things where it's like this could be my guild.
No, I really like the idea of the soap opera thing. I think it sounds like a lot of fun, and I think if you write it a certain way, it could be like unexpected. Like it plays on the tropes, but it also can be unexpected and interesting.
Like the serious dialogue, but then you got the dun dun dun. Right. And then the occasional wink wink. Like the word is I don't know.
But it actually turns out it was your twin brother.
I don't. Yeah, it's still in its infancy, but I'm like all over the place trying to figure out where it is. So I'm like, I was curious of like, where does the creativity come from, and like, where are some of your routes in it, and like, you're not a professional writer, I'm not a professional actor, but we still gonna try and do what we do.
Yep.
But yeah, that's my new project. Is I want to do more, like just weird, goofy videos.
Honestly, weird and goofy sounds like a lot of fun.
Like, and then like because a lot of it's just practice.
Oh, of course, it's just figuring out how to do it. Once you do figure out how to do it, it's like you don't know how you didn't know how to do that.
Right. So
kind of like walking. Kids one day they walk and it's like they just figured it out and they never go back to toddling or falling over. They're just doing it.
But I work through the challenges. I figure out the angles, the green screen, get it all working. And then like the soap opera thing doesn't work, but the things that I will learn and take from that, boom, now I'm making like longer stuff with Liam. Like we're doing the whole thing over the summer. Like
yeah, it all grows.
Like you're doing writing in November. I'm like, I'm making weird fucking shorts. Like
weird shorts November.
Right? But then it turns into like short film. Like I'd love to do like a weird like 10-minute short film of some kind. Who knows?
That actually did used to be a theme for NaNoWriMo. It was called the Rebels Forum.
Yeah.
And it was people who didn't traditionally want to do NaNoWriMo. And like some people would be like, well, I'm writing a graphic novel. So instead of doing, 50,000 words in a month, I'm going to do 30 drawings in a month. There was one little girl who was drawing like her own little things and writing her own, and her mom would write down a little story under it. And she would do one per day.
Right.
Very serious about it. She was at the midnight launch one year.
Oh, cool.
And she was sitting there with her little crayons. All business. All business.
It's November.
She's like, hey, I got 30 of these. Well, you guys can't interrupt me.
You want to chit chat? You want to have some fun? Talk to me on the 1st.
See you the TGIO.
So I don't know what I predict it's going to be more of a year 3 project before anybody sees anything. But we will see another Ben on Ben interview. Like this one, I'll have to what's weird is I have to start. Like I need to learn to write like a script, even with this new the Ben video. It's like because if I'm playing multiple parts and the timing of like I need to get used to like figure out how to write all of it down
and how to have two characters interact. You say hi, the other person can't say hi at the same time in the recording. It's got to be
right. Well, because that's good. What I learned from the first one was I need to figure out where my eye lines are, so that way it looks like we're actually talking to each other.
Oh, like in like green screens, they'll put like a little tennis ball where the monster is.
Right. So I got to play with like the sight lines. and it's weird because I'm in no way at all a video editor, but it's because I use Canva, so it's all like it's like PowerPoint 2.0. Like it's just like it's a scrapbook. It's basically like an online scrapbooking thing.
Right.
So like this idea of the soap opera, there's a diner, and like I love like I've already think I figured out how one Ben hands the other Ben a plate. Like I want to see movement across from one to the other side because you know that there's a cut somewhere. No one knows where the cuts are.
Right.
But the idea that I can take a plate and it interacts with the other Ben, oh, like it's
Bro.
so good.
When I tell you, I just saw a video about this on Shorts. I just saw that.
That's awesome.
I'll see if I can find it
Like-
because it's definitely in my history somewhere.
It is. It is interesting, and I love because I'm having a blast. Like I get really cagey sometimes on the live streams. I didn't even expect to go this deep into the soap opera idea, but going into like the panels, be like, hey guys, like I can make a soap opera, man.
Bro, I'm not gonna tell you. I'm about to make a soap opera.
Like I'm doing the craziest stuff right now. But yeah, I'll keep you guys all updated. It's gonna be fun though.
I'm really excited for the soap opera. See, that's the thing. Is also I feel like it's infectious because if you tell me, like, okay, yeah, no.
Right.
So you said you were writing an ad for Chasing the Whimsy,
Right.
and Kelly was telling me about it, and I was like, I wrote an ad, give it to him. Like other people's like generating ideas makes me feel like I have more ideas and creative. I'm just already thinking about soap operas and just like, oh yeah, this would be cool. That would be cool. This would be funny. That would be interesting.
I've never watched a soap opera. My grandmother, all my children, for like 100 years.
Oh yeah, my grandma watched all the Spanish telenovelas and stuff like that.
So it's gonna be fun to be like, you get a couple out there and people are gonna come out of the woodworks and be like, here you go. You're like, here, like, we're gonna take a story from 78. I get like it's everything that we're talking about with the panels, which is there's art in simplicity. Like,
Right.
I'm not moving around. There's not a lot of action shots. It's just going to be like, can two Bens tell a weirdly whimsical, fucking compelling soap opera story with a green screen and fucking two Bens? And
Right.
it's like,
It definitely is like find a way to make it simple. Like, oh, I want to make my own movies. Like, how about you make a couple skits
right,
and cast your friends,
right,
and then figure out how filmmaking looks for you or how podcasting works for you.
like everybody's doing filmmaking or some kind of video. What are people not doing? Weird simplicity.
That's the thing is like you could practice yourself. I mean, you could just get your like friends together while you're drinking, be like, okay, let's pretend we're on a podcast. What do we talk about?
Right.
Like just work it out with them. And it's easier to do with friends, and it's easier to do when you have somebody to work off of.
Right. Oh, it's gonna be so much fun. Oh, it just seems like the coolest thing in the world to me. Like,
because I have honestly no idea how you podcast by yourself. I would miss having somebody to talk to.
It's weird because I recorded. So I recorded the Ben on Ben video. I had the GoPro going on, and I was recording it. I was going to keep it for some behind the scenes stuff. I fucked it up. There's no sound to it, so now it's just like an hour and a half of me just like looking at nothing and talking to myself. But then I recorded an ICE episode to recoup what I can as of behind the scenes. So I talk about where the idea came from, what I did, how I fucked up the audio on it. Like it's like it's like the silliest thing in the world. It's like amateur hour. But yeah, I podcast by myself, and it's like it's interesting. I do it.
I don't know. It's just like not having somebody else to play off of,
right?
Or to talk while you don't have anything to say would be crazy to me.
because like my friend Jacob, he's starting to do some solo stuff, but he's more on the video side, so he's able to cut it up and kind of mesh it all together. Where I'm like, I'll car cast and be like 3 minutes of silence of me trying to work out something while I'm changing lanes and not trying to get hit. Because my mom loves all the CarCast episodes. Yeah, it is weird.
No, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying from my point of view, it would be hard for me to just talk.
Because it's not like wildly unreasonable. Because like a lot of vloggers like keep like rando diaries and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it either.
I don't know.
I guess if you pretend you're talking to somebody else, it might be easier.
I don't know. I think I go out of my way to make sure people know I'm alone. All right, we're at an hour and a half almost. It is interesting. I'm just excited. Like a lot of it's just like, because I'm always curious of where people's creativity comes from, and like what do they do to like acknowledge and hone it. Because all I know is I've acknowledged it, and now I'm gonna have a blast honing in on these random like Ben on Ben videos.
It sounds like a blast.
I figured out how to get all like those behind the scenes are gonna be amazing. Like those will be so much fun. Just like
Unhinged.
like you'd be like, that was a 3-minute video, Ben, and why is there 2 hours? I'm like, because
It took 2 hours.
Because I needed a high five.
Yeah, high five. It just kept going where it just didn't quite meet up.
Right? Oh, or it's like slightly lower, or you can see because it's funny because you look at the video, and most people would think it's like right down the middle. No, not with me. But yeah, I mean the technology makes it super easy to edit those things together, which is nice because like my vision is very simple. Couldn't I just do this and then just like crop it and just attach it to this? Like Canva is like, yeah, perfect, and it kind of helps keep everything all seamless.
The AI
Yeah.
fixes it all up.
Well, and what's nice is like, yeah, well, yeah, some of it's the AI, and then just the way that it helps, like well, what I was most impressed is for that video to work, you have to have 2 videos playing at the same time.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, like that's my favorite thing is I hit play and it's not playing one version, like it's literally playing both videos at the same time. And I'm like, because if it didn't do that, I would be completely screwed. I wouldn't even know how to do it. I'd be like, all right, I guess we're not doing fucking Ben on Ben videos anymore.
Oh my god.
Or you'd have to, because I hate the creativity part, right? Is you got content creators who want it polished, they want it to look consistent with others, right? So that's where you start seeing the different cuts when people are vlogging. So you'll see they're talking about something, and then there's like a weird cut, and they're right. I want just fucking 2 solid like straight videos happen to work really well with each other.
Right.
And it's
I
like,
think with like a constant camera angle, it should work pretty well because
Right.
it's very easy to cut because it's the
Yeah.
same distance from
Yep.
the camera. Everything is not moving.
and it's a different type of, because like I appreciate everything that video editors do. Like that's crazy,
Oh no,
and it's skill.
got to be a really detailed thing, but you could also get away with a lot.
Yeah.
With no
Right.
know-how.
But it's a different type of creativity that says, I'm going to make these 2 videos that sync up really well with each other with a standing, like, this one shot.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's a whole, like, because that's a whole, because, like, like people make jokes all the time. They're like, "Oh, we'll just fix it in post."
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
fix it in
I can't
post.
fix it in post
And then they go, we couldn't fix it in post.
because I have the first draft of the Ben video, where I was doing it and the timing was off by like a second and a half at some point. So I'm like, it worked, but I'm like, I could make it work if I edited it
Yeah, and took out the little,
and
shaved it a bit.
paused it, spun, and moved it around a little bit. But I'm like, no. I said, I want this 3 minute to match with this 3 minute
Yeah.
go. And now, and like the idea that like my whole thought process is like not where am I going to find the cuts? It's fuck, can I do this? Like, because one bend is super easy, but now I'll have to like the second bend is like, and now I'm going to add a third bend. Like that's amazing. It's so cool.
3 bends is going to be intense.
Dude, the story on it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be hilarious.
No, it's going to be, but three edits is going to be crazy.
Oh, you're like, where? Because you look at it, and you're like, where's he gonna do it? How's he gonna do it? Oh, I'm gonna nail it. It's gonna be so fun. I'll probably do it next weekend. I'll write it out this week. Like it's gonna be my favorite like projects like that I've done in a while. So, I don't know. That's all I got. Like, yeah, I just like talking to creative people and like people who like fucking do creative things.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, like you just like my excitement rubs off, and you're like, I'm like,
And you start getting invested and you want to help and you get ideas for it.
right, you're like, fuck, I don't even want to do videos, but somehow I'm gonna write like 30 short stories that all like intermingle, like because like some of those movies are always really interesting, where you like 5 different stories. Was it? Does Love Actually ever connect?
I've never watched.
I haven't either. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, our editor walked out of the room.
But like the idea that like November was run, and you're like, I want to get my 50,000 words, but it's gonna be 3 stories that will similar interchange somewhere.
Exactly.
And you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, Ben. And you're like, I don't like it. But you're like, part of it's the idea of like creativity of others that inspire you to really, because all it's doing now is getting me to just push myself to a limit, find my limit, and then keep pushing past that. So now my limits are going.
Right, because you never want to
Yeah.
just like limit yourself to, this is what I do, this is what I'm good at, this is what I always have done, and
Right. Episode 7. I go back to episode 7, Ben, and be like, hey, could you do this? No, I can't do any of that.
right.
And now it's like, hey, within 2 years, like I'm doing like the weirdest stuff. Like it is 100% on brand.
Well, yeah, and if you ever told yourself back then, you weren't ready for that. You weren't ready for that truth yet.
I would have been excited for it, but I definitely needed to hit all these little things.
We have to walk before you can run. I mean, I guess you could
Yeah.
try to run a bunch of times and you
Right.
eventually get it, but
All right. Well, 133. And then everybody, after this, there's a 10-minute Sophie podcast episode right after this. So you have to listen to an hour and 45 minutes worth of Whimsy this week.
yeah,
Deal.
the best 10 minutes is at the end.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle, we had some good times.
But I want to hear about the park.
She's so funny. She's like, I know what I want to talk about, Dad. And I'm like, all right. Hey, what did you do today? She's like, well, I want to go to the park. I'm like, that's not what we talked about. Like, you're worse than your brother.